Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the First Ones to Die podcast. Thank you for joining us today. What's up? My name is Jonathan. I'm here with my co-host, Alex. Alex, how you doing today?
Good. Just freshening up on some of the things we're going to be talking about today. How about you?
I'm doing well. I've been trying to keep up as much as I can with the live feeds and everything, but I'm excited to talk about what we're about to talk about too. So we, for the first time ever, well, not for the first time ever, because this show has been mentioned many a time on the podcast, but it's the first time that we're actually dedicating an actual something to it. And we are going to be talking about Big Brother Canada season 10. The first two episodes, they came out this past week. And we actually have a little podcast connection to the podcast. Alex, do you want to kind of introduce that story?
Last year, we got to meet a nice man named Kyle Moore, who does his own podcast. I had it up too, and I forgot. Life is a wreck, right?
Life's a wreck.
Life's a wreck. A very nice guy came to talk to us or talk with us about mental health, and for our podcast, specifically more mental health in media, in shows and movies, how it's portrayed and how it's presented. He actually got his name mixed up for Big Brother Canada season 9 with another contestant, and people swarmed his inbox and Twitters and all that fun stuff. But then they found out it wasn't him, and then they're like, oh. So, but he was nice enough to come speak with us, talk a little bit about mental health. But this season now he is on there.
Yes, Kyle Moore. He's a contestant on season 10. So it's come full circle. And he said last year, when he was on this very podcast, he said that he's going to try out for Big Brother Canada. And look at that. If that's not a testament, I don't know what is.
Right? Commitment, man. I did not have that throughout this whole past year. And, I have so much respect to him for saying he's going to do it. He went through it. And not only that, he's actually on the show now. So that's even cooler.
Yes, it's very exciting. So obviously, with us knowing someone who's on the season, we thought we might mix it up and do a little episode recap of the first two episodes, the first week in Big Brother Canada. The first week is not really a week, it's 2 episodes, 2 days. So
I'm a little unfamiliar with how Big Brother works. I did watch the first 2 episodes. First one was like introduction and all that fun stuff. We got to meet the 16 contestants. I wasn't aware there was going to be 16. I thought there was going to be 12. So that was a little bit of a to me. But that was it was very nice to meet all those individuals. They were all unique people. I quite liked. I think it was Jessica. I like her like little hair ball thingies on the top she was wearing most of the time. And a lot of them seemed like they were going to be fun and interesting. And I liked how they were already trying to present themselves as like, oh, I'm going to be this character in the show. So that was cute that they came up with like who almost their identities were already going to be or who they want to be when they're going to start doing Big Brother more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for those who don't know, who haven't listened to the podcast before, I am a huge Big Brother fan. Alex, this is her first step into the Big Brother world.
I'm here for it.
Yes, and she's here for it. So yeah, that's and the first couple episodes are always weird because you don't get to really know too many people that in depth. And with 16 people, it can be a lot. So I can only imagine how many people's names you can remember out like after watching both episodes.
I have the list pulled up for that exact reason. I have a very terrible memory, but I can remember incidences or like moments. But I wasn't prepared for the amount of people. And I will say I did appreciate they got a pretty good diverse cast. I've heard the controversy in the past with Big Brother and their issues with that and a lot of that, but this cast seemed very diverse and seems like it's going to bring a lot of different flavors, which I appreciate. That's something that's going to keep people interested too. You don't want to see the same personality multiplied 16 times. You want to see different people with different backgrounds, different lifestyles, and different, ethnicities and being like, oh yeah, I can see how that seems weird here, but it's actually like really normal, but it's also really fun.
Right. You got the cultural diversity, the ethnic diversity, also gender diversity. We have some people who go by they them pronouns as well. Um, the only thing it's missing is kind of the age diversity. The oldest person is 42, and most people are in their like mid to late 20s. And I know that's something that Big Brother fans are often, hammering on, the fact that there's usually that one token older person, and they usually go out pretty early. So I you can't, you can't have it all, but there's a good amount of diversity in here.
It's a slow pace, but it's going.
Exactly.
It's something this season that I can say it looks very well diverse.
Yes.
There what? Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. We're adopting the Canadian style right now.
Yeah, we're trying to be very polite.
Right. I was gonna ask, because we probably won't go through like every single aspect of the show. You can probably listen to other recaps if you want that. But I'll ask you, who stood out for you, both either in a good way or in a bad way? Who are you gravitating towards right now?
I not necessarily that I did not like, but I am not entirely fond of Jay Northcott because he won. I'm sorry. I want to make sure I'm using their.
I think Jay goes by they.
They go by they. Sorry. They brought out the clown. They're like, you can't vote out a clown, and they put on the red nose. And I was like, nope, I would vote you out in a heartbeat. Coming in dressed like a clown, a literal clown. I don't know who's favoring that. They seemed like they would be really fun to be around, but trapped in a household with that type of very energeticness. For I don't know how long they're trapped in these households for.
It's about 70 days.
Yeah, I can't do that. And it's more of a personal thing. Like meeting me, you'll understand. Absolutely. Yeah, that can't happen. So Jay Northcott, they seem like they'd be super fun to be around, and like they'd be great to have a drink with, and like know everybody and be like, yeah, this person, one of the best people I know, but like stuck in a household for 70 days. Nope, can't do that. I would turn into the villain. That would be bad. But the other ones seemed like really cool. All of them seemed really fun. All of them seemed, about all 16 of them all just seemed excited to be there. Mm-hmm. There was all of them were just so like eager and be like, hey, I'm here, which was adorable to me. I mean, these are all grown adults, but they were adorable to me that they were like, I'm here, I'm at the Big Brother house. And I was like, oh, you guys have been wanting this.
I love when people react that way, because when people just walk into the house like, oh, cool, nice, cool, okay, all right. When they act too cool for school, you know that they're freaking out on the inside. But when they don't show it, it annoys me, because I'm like, okay, we have people who would walk in there and be like just bursting at the seams once they get inside, because this is like not many people get to have this opportunity. Right. So when you walk in there all too cool for school, it's like, get out of here.
Yeah, and none of them seemed to act that way. They were all like, look, there's I forget who it was, but I believe it was in Kyle's group, the second group that got introduced. One of them was like, look at these big doors. They're like, their doors are so big. And I was like, you're a grown woman, but I'm like, you're adorable to me. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Because I don't know if they like being called the door, but that was like cute. They were like mesmerized by like the giant doors because they had just walked onto the set and they were being led into the house. So I think they all had some really good genuine reactions when they were first being led into the house, which made me feel like these are like, oh, this is going to be a fun time. Then again, I don't know much about Big Brother house, so that could be how like a lot of this goes down, and then all of a sudden, betraying starts.
Right.
70 days, really?
Well, in Big Brother US, it's 90 plus. This is the shortened version.
Like like I don't even think I could be around like my family. I don't think I don't think there's a person in this. There's a reason. Again, I always say this. A reason why I'm single. I don't think I could be around a person for 90 days straight without taking increments of breaks from them.
That's why you get some of these all-time blowouts, because when you're
Oh,
trapped
that
in the
would be
house.
me. That would be me then. Absolutely. And I would apologize immediately afterwards, but I would end up saying horrible things. Was there any any contestant that you were like, oh, this one gives me a good vibe, or one that's like, oh, this one's gonna be trouble?
So yes and yes. So I was really gravitating towards Summer. I loved her energy. Once she got in, she got on the phone. She was like, Arissa, answer my call. Arissa, the host. Arissa,
Yeah.
answer my call. So that was funny. And I liked, again, that energy of her clearly loving the fact that she was in the Big Brother house. She, in her intro package, one of the aspects of her story is the reason why she's on the show is because a coworker that she didn't like really liked Big Brother Canada. And she was like, okay, I don't like you, so I'm going to be on your favorite show. And that's why she applied to be on Big Brother Canada. So the level of petty is outstanding. And I can't wait to see what she does with that pettiness during the season.
I respect that.
Right?
I respect that totally. Yeah.
Although I'd hate to be that coworker, like,
I don't know. Would you be like, oh, she got it? It's because of me. She's getting this because of me. So she can try to be like, oh, I'm doing it against you. But like now you have nobody to thank because you wouldn't have gone through with this without your hate for me. So really, you owe it to me.
It's like you're thinking of me the whole time while
you're
in the
thinking
house.
of me. You're trying to be petty, but like you're thinking of me. I'm the reason you got on the show. I'm only the reason you applied. So like try to hate me, but like I'm the one who's moving you forward.
Right. So you're saying if she wins, then that coworker has to get a portion of the check.
I think so, because clearly she wasn't doing anything on her own.
Right.
See, this is I can't be. Or maybe I should be. This may be the reasons I should be. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
And then the person who was rubbing me in a little bit of the wrong way was Kevin. Person who went in there. He just went in there in the same vein of a lot of the people that we've seen on Big Brother and Big Brother Canada, where they're like, I'm going to be the mastermind. I'm going to be the villain. I'm going to be betraying everyone's favorite contestants. And usually those people, they flop hard. They usually aren't successful in being the villain. At best, they're just annoying. And they flame out eventually. So I'm not very excited about him, but who knows? He might become a beloved character at some point, or he might get his wish and become the villain.
You're right. He does have that energy of like, I'm going to be the big old bad, but then you make one bad comment and he's like, I didn't come here to get attacked. He has that energy where it's like, yeah, you can try to be the bad guy, but like when you meet a real bad guy, you're like, there was no reason to attack me personally. I'm like, yeah. I'm starting to think I should be on Big Brother now.
This is your opportunity. Except
this is my moment.
Except don't be like Summer and be like, yeah, my former friend / former coworker, Jonathan, he really loved this show. And now I don't like that dude. So that's why I applied to be
can I say
show.
It's still because of you and it's because I love you? And I'm like, yeah, when I do it.
Okay, you can give me credit in that way.
Yeah, and be like, I am going to be the petty bitch still, though. You know, I went here for wholesome reasons, but I'm staying to be petty.
There you go.
I'm gonna find a reason. I'll find a reason to be petty. I do. The house is interesting. What I don't, because again, this is the first year I'm watching it. Why is everything in neon? Why do they do that? Is there like an actual reason, or is it just a design thing?
So Big Brother Canada, and people have pointed it out, especially this season, because they just went extremely all out this season.
Oh, okay.
But Big Brother Canada is notorious for having super bright colors, a super bright house, lots of lighting, lots of bright lighting, fluorescent lighting, Walmart lighting.
Yeah.
And so this is nothing new for Big Brother Canada. It's just a little bit more on steroids this year.
Okay, so it was even more so this year because I was
Yes.
like kind of watching it. I was like, the chairs, they're like the legs of the chairs are lit up. I don't know
Yep.
if you noticed that, but they were all lit up. I was like, why does everything look like they have LED strip lights on them?
Yes.
Like what set designer was like, this needs to be brighter. They're making sure, like, I think it's actually making sure nobody's blemishes are seen. It's such a bright light, it's canceling everything out. So
Hmm.
they don't need to constantly put makeup, everything. How do they turn off the lights when they sleep though?
They do turn off the lights when they sleep, but I would be walking around that house all day with glasses on because I couldn't handle all of those lights. The Big Brother US house is a lot more natural. There's a lot more like soft lighting and it looks more like an actual house. But the Big Brother Canada house, it looks like a set. It doesn't look like a house at all.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's very weird. What did you think of Kyle's entrance? Because I sent you a little video of it.
Alex really appreciated the slide in on the snow.
It was smooth. It was this quick slide in. He was able to stop on cue. And like I was saying, as somebody who grew up in the Midwest, I remember doing those type of slides. Midwest and Canada are kind of nearing the same thing when it comes to snow and how you handle it. However, I would no longer do that. I've become a big wuss. I would no longer slide on snow. I'm like, nope, it's cold. I'm gonna be all wet.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
But I thought his intro was very sweet and cute.
Same. I love how we talked about he got to, give that promo for his podcast. And I like the fact that he talked about, he has a mental health podcast. And the only thing they didn't mention how he got on the show, which I know he mentioned in his the video that they put up online, but they didn't include that in the show. So I'm wondering if that's going to come out on the show at all, or if it's just going to be a thing that like the super fans know.
Ooh, does that make me a super fan? Because
You
I
are a
know now.
super fan now.
I
Yes.
know. Oh, you're right. I didn't notice that. I thought I was like, oh, he's like such a one in reality. He's such a sweet man. He was so nice, so kind when we spoke to him. And then the bio he gave reflected that greatly. And then I'm like, oh, he has a podcast on mental health. I'm like, how is anybody going to try to hate on this man? How are they going to treat him as like the bad guy in Big Brother? And I know you told me like they can do that with certain characters, but I'm like, I've met him in real life. I know he's actually a really sweet person.
Exactly.
So I'm interested to find out how. I know it sounds, but I think the way I'm going to say it sounds bad. But I'm interested in to find out how they're going to try and make him the bad guy in any of the challenges or what's going on.
Hopefully not. Hopefully, it's usually the people who are in power for a long amount of time. That's when the fans start to turn on them because it's like, you've been in power for too long. This is getting boring. I hate that you're in power. This is too easy for you. I want to see your downfall. That's when the fans start to turn on a contestant.
Monarchy.
Exactly. And so far, he's okay. Can I put out some spoilers for you and the audience? If warning, this is
Well, I watched the 2 episodes.
okay. Well, there's more stuff that's happened since then on the live feed.
Oh, yeah. Then I haven't watched. Go ahead. Yeah.
Can I? Okay. This is a warning for anyone who does not want to partake in the spoilerness of it all. If you haven't watched past the first eviction, then this is your cue to exit. Follow us at the first ones to die. But anyways, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. But he is in a pretty good spot right now. He is in a majority alliance, an alliance of 7 people. And so he's doing pretty well. So that is good for his long-term game. But it might be that thing of, okay, if he's in power for too long, if any of these people are in power for too long, the fans are going to start rioting. They're going to start getting bored. They're going to start, asking for someone else to be in power.
They're gonna go after him.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of the very first alliance that was formed with the first 4 people who were in? It was, I believe, Summer, Gio.
They jumped in that super quick.
Who else was in that alliance? Josh and
I don't recall who was the first 4.
Was it JC?
I think it was Stephanie. No, Stephanie, I'm sorry, she was in the second round.
I think it was JC Lynn. also in
JC
that
Lynn.
alliance. Yes.
I know. No, I'm still thinking of Kyle's group, and I know Josh. I thought is that normal for them to do that, to immediately create an alliance?
Sometimes they'll be like, oh, we're the first 5 in. There was an alliance that was the first 5 people who were in season 2. There was an alliance called the First 5. They were the first 5 people to enter the house, and they made an alliance together. And fast forward like 5 weeks, they were hated by Canada. They were hated by the audience. And in week 5, there was a Canada's HOH. So they put 2 of the members of that alliance up on the block to send a message. We don't like this alliance.
That's fair. I thought it was a little strange, and they called themselves, I think, the Good Looking Alliance or the Pretty Alliance or something. It was something of like their appearance. And I was like, well, that's a little egotistical. We waited. And then like there was little alliances being created, and I'm like, how many alliances are there? And like, if you as an individual are in every single alliance and everybody finds out you're in every single alliance, do you think they'll like immediately be like, well, they're clearly loyal to no one, really? Because
sometimes that happens. Yeah, it might. Who knows? Because yeah, I feel like in this season, I haven't been able to keep up with the live feeds as much as I'd like to. But in this season, there are a lot of cross alliances. There are a lot of people who are in multiple alliances.
yeah, because I kept thinking, I was like, one, how are you going to start off the alliance with the first 4 people you meet? And they barely met. They were like, hey, we're all here, the first 4 people.
Right.
I was like, I probably would not have done it myself. I've been like, no, I'm gonna wait till I feel out more people. I don't know your guys'
denied the alliance.
I absolutely look.
That's
If
how
I'm
you
going
get
in there
sent home the first week, Alex.
they can try, but I'm the only one playing smart. I'm not going off of looks. I need to know what you're bringing to the table. See, I am gonna apply. We'll talk about this afterwards.
We'll talk about the logistics.
We'll go.
I don't think you can apply for Canada, but you can apply for US.
Yeah, we'll talk about that application afterwards.
All right.
I thought it was just, I thought it was a little strange that, but I guess that's a normal thing for the alliances to start immediately happening. Mm-hmm. But wouldn't you want to like get to know the person first before you suddenly jump in an alliance with them?
Yeah, and which is why, I don't think a particular alliance, maybe some of the people in it, but I don't think the particular alliance has a lot of longevity, which is the case with a lot of alliances that are formed the first day or night. So we'll see what happens with the alliance if it implodes, but that just makes for more entertainment, because if the alliance implodes, then that's just fun for us to watch.
What did you think of the first elimination? Molina?
Yes, Malina. I had actually predicted, when I was listening to people's cast assessments of the cast, and I saw her intro video, I was like, she might be a good candidate for first boot, because she had such a different energy than a lot of the cast. A lot of the cast was like, and she was very much like, yeah, it's just me. What up? I'm a tattoo artist. I'm just chilling. Yeah. So though, when you have someone who's a very different energy from the rest of the cast, like not in your face like that, then you stand out. And I think she stood out a little bit too much. And I don't think she knew that much about the game either. So she was doomed from the start.
I thought it was a little funny when she got eliminated, because I was talking to somebody about Big Brother Canada. Once you meet somebody who likes Big Brother Canada, they'll tell you, or Big Brother in general, they'll tell you all about it. Uh-huh. So if other people found out I was watching it, they're like, oh, you really like? I'm like, what? It's the first season. Give me a little information. They had mentioned how I didn't look online because I just watched episodes. They were like, oh yeah, she was talking about how she was spontaneous and like no rules and living her life. And it's, yeah, you're right, just her and all this stuff. And I was like, well, I'm like, I bet she wasn't. I hope that's spontaneous. Like that was spontaneous. Her getting voted out first. I was like, clearly you need some structure then. That joke wasn't as funny to the other people. Right. Like, oh no, it's I'm like, well, you know, because like she wasn't planning on that, spontaneous. And I was like, wow, okay, no joking when it comes to Big Brother. Thank you. Yeah. But then again, I think you're also just my very good friend and you support me and my terrible jokes.
She apparently has like over 400,000 followers on TikTok. So she's doing good in other places in her life.
Yeah, I mean tattooing. I'd love if she's showing videos of tattooing. I'll follow her.
Mhm.
If she's just doing dancing, I don't do that. I'm not on
I
that
think
side
it
of
has to do
TikTok.
with like art and tattoos. So what did you think of the first head of household? What did you think? Yeah, what did you think about the competition overall? The first HOH competition where you had the 3 rounds. They were separated into groups. The first group, they solved the door puzzle, where they had to they had to build the door and then walk through it. The second group, they had the elimination where they were answering questions. The third group had the beanbag tossed.
Is that what it? First off, I would have destroyed that big bag toss. That's a
Oh.
cornhole right there. Um, cornhole. Um, are all the challenges like that? Like puzzles, kind of?
No, they
Is this just
vary.
like a nice way of like Squid Games? Like this will leave.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes they're very like childhood playground games. Sometimes you have endurance where you're hanging on a wall for the last person standing on the wall is the HOH. Sometimes you have quiz competitions, or where quiz competitions where you're answering questions. The person who gets the most right wins. So they vary week to week.
I did enjoy it. I thought I enjoyed the cornhole thing more, and I'm calling it that. Just because I played it. I thought the door thing was actually really interesting that they had to build a door and walk through it. It
Mm-hmm.
was very, very symbolic, almost in a way. I don't know if it was meant to be that deep, but it felt deep. You know what I mean? Um, I was just like, I think I was a little like bored because I understand they had to cut up the challenges because there's so many people there. So they had to kind of have a big group to do or multiple challenges, but it felt kind
Mm-hmm.
of weird. You know what I mean? Like, and then it was a different style challenge. It's not just like, oh, this group's going to build the same door, not testing the same strength at the same time, I guess.
Yeah, this was definitely, I feel like, a departure from their typical first challenge. Their usual first challenge is typically an endurance challenge where you have to hang on for the longest amount of time and that person wins.
Yeah, I think
That's usually the first HOH.
that's a dirty challenge to do when you first arrive because you're
Tanisha.
all excited, your energy's up, and that can either go really well or really badly, or some unfortunately some do drink heavily when they first arrive. Um, and so you got a little buzz going on for your first few days. You don't want to grab onto a wall and hold on. I like this childish. I don't want to call it childish version. I like the more cute, fun way of playing. Then moving further into like it gets harder with endurance and climbing, holding on, more physical challenges. I guess I could say.
it some of these games are childish.
I mean, you're building a door like a puzzle, like a giant puzzle. It's not like you're building it like sand scraping or anything. So that's why I was like, it's childish, but at the same time,
Right.
puzzles can be difficult.
They can. I guess in transitioning to the future of the season, who would you say you are rooting for out of the cast, other than Kyle Moore?
I was like,
Because
of
we know
course,
we're
Kyle.
right.
Um, you're right. I did like Summer. Her pettiness, I think, is just gonna be kind of fun to see. And I think um not Gino. Gino kind of creeps me out.
Why?
I don't know. He's got the like I'm with a lover boy type of vibe. And it's just like, oh, or that guy that's just gonna try to sleep with a lot of the women. It's like, oh, get a personality, man. Just it's okay to get one.
Hey, some of the people who are jocks, they can turn out to be the lovable teddy bears by the end of the season.
That's fair. I am stereotyping there. He can totally, well,
But they
that's
can
the whole
also
point of it.
they also often turn out to be trash as well. So
What do you want? What do you want from me? I'm trying to apologize for stereotyping, but you're like, also he just might be trash. Like I'm trying to be a good person, Jonathan. No, I'm kidding. I did I did like Malina.
Oh yes.
She wasn't as noticeable as everybody else, but I do know she was still working on her master's. She's a student.
Mm-hmm.
So that also money could help her a lot.
Right. She was the
Yeah.
one who was the hot mess during the premiere. She like tripped through the door and then she spilled the glass.
Which you're like, who am I gonna resonate more with? Honestly. Yeah, and she seems like she would, she's more down to earth, but yeah, as a student, you also know what you gotta do, you have to do what you gotta do to get that money to pay those
Right.
bills. So I respect that too, that hustle. So I think Helena is the one I would be her and Kyle are my top tier at the moment, at least.
Okay. Okay.
What about you? Who are you looking at?
Kyle, of course. But other than Kyle, we're rooting for Kyle. We're rooting for Kyle. Summer, like I mentioned, I love her energy. I love her humor. I thought Josh seemed really down to earth. And the first doctor on Big Brother Canada, that's really impressive.
I completely forgot about him. That's not good.
It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. Also Tanisha, she's the mom, the young, not young mom, but like she's 32.
Yeah.
Tanisha, she also seems like she has some skill in and game prowess. So I'm excited to see what she does. I'm interested to see how Gino does as well. I think it's either one or the other. He'll either be the beloved teddy bear or, turn out to be a little bit of a playboy or a jerk. But I'm hoping for the former. I know I just named half the cast, but those are the people that I'm most interested in right now.
I just looked up the Josh Nash is his name.
Mm-hmm.
I regret forgetting him. This man is so sweet. He's a pediatric resident. He's got 11 brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Like so much respect. Although having that many siblings, he knows how to play people.
Mm-hmm.
That comes out sweet. But
he knows how to cohabitate with a lot of people as well.
Mm-hmm. And you know what to do to avoid trouble, or you can sense it coming. Because me and my sister do that. Sometimes we do get a little rough with each other, and people are like, "What the hell?" And I'm like, "Oh no, it's a sister thing. Sisters like to cut to the bone."
Mm-hmm.
And so we know how to go for people's insecurities. It's a terrible trait to have, because you don't understand when you've overstepped boundaries. But like having 11 siblings, maybe sometime a boundary was taught. It's different when it's just two sisters. But no, he looks like a good one. Good contestant, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
There you go. One of the good ones.
One of the good ones.
One of the good ones. All right. I guess we can start wrapping up our little discussion on the premiere. But I guess what are your final thoughts? And will you continue to check in with Big Brother Canada for the rest of the season?
I will absolutely continue to check in, one, to see our guy Kyle, and two, it looks, like I said, it looks more interesting than I was willing to give it credit to. I'm still confused by some stuff, and the lights do bother me. I have to watch that on like low lighting for me because I do suffer from migraines. And if I do get on Big Brother USA, I'll have to wear those glasses. So it's like tinted ones a little bit, but that could add to my mystique.
There you go. Thankfully, the Big Brother US house is a lot more neutral.
Yeah, but I've seen the photos. It also looks like it came out of a 90s Nickelodeon catalog. I said what I said. But I think they got a good variety of people. I didn't find any of those people to be like overlapping personalities too much with another person. Like, oh, this is just the same person in, different style clothing or different style hair. They all seem to have a very unique personality, and their individuality is clear in who they are. I think it's a little funny, the ones who try to be like, oh, I can do this, I'm cold-hearted and blah blah blah, like, are probably the ones who are going to end up crying a lot more than I want to like say.
We're looking at you, Kevin.
Yeah, probably. Oh, Kevin going down real quick. Um, Kevin cannot dish it. Kevin can try, but cannot take it.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Um, so, but I think it's going to be an interesting season, and I think it's a fun way to start my new brother experience, my big brother experience. So I think, yeah, I'd definitely commit to it. The first two shows were interesting. I enjoyed the first challenges. I thought that, again, they were fun, kind of erring on the side of childishness, which honestly is kind of a nice feel nowadays compared to a lot of reality shows. Because I understand they're trying to one up from what they did the season before or something. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's nice to just fun to see some people solving a giant puzzle or playing cornhole, or like, oh, the challenge is hide and seek. You have to find your opponents. Like, that would be so cute. And I would totally like watch somebody trying to find the other contestants for like 20 minutes.
Right?
Totally, I would watch that. So I think this was like a nice introduction for me to at least get into the show.
Nice.
Would you, as an experienced Big Brother watcher, what was your take?
I enjoyed the premiere, both episodes on Wednesday and Thursday. I was uh, I wasn't able to watch it live on Wednesday or Thursday, and so I was just like chomping at the bit. I was just like, I need my Big Brother Canada. Like, I need my Big Brother Canada.
I watched
And,
the second episode live at work.
oh, really?
I shouldn't have, but I did. I did it. Sorry, go on.
So I was very pleased once we actually got the episode. They jam-packed a lot into that second episode, but I was happy for it, and I'm excited to watch the rest of the season going forward. I'm gonna watch as much of the live feeds as I possibly can, but I always will feel like I am behind, regardless of how much of the live feeds I watch. But I listen to like some of the podcasts to keep me updated on what's going on in the house when I can't watch the live feeds for myself. So I appreciate that. Yeah, there are people who
When you
do.
say live feeds, is it literally just them in the house? Like, you're just watching these
There's
people do the dishes.
no. It's
What is it?
usually because they usually so they have two cameras, or well, they have four. You can choose out of two rooms essentially uh that they focus on where you want to watch. And usually they try to focus on people who are having like strategy talks or interesting things that are going on. So you watch them talk strategy. Oh, I'm voting out this person. Oh, we're aligned together. Yeah, we're good. Blah, blah, blah. So they usually try to focus on the alliance stuff. There's times when nothing's happening and they're just sitting around washing dishes. But for the most part, they're usually like talking strategy and stuff like that.
Okay. It's such an
Go ahead.
it's such an, again, I think I talked about it with Euphoria. Like, what? No, I'm sorry. Our book review,
Mhm.
Vladimir. When I said it was like interesting to watch it from a psychological case study point of view. This kind of has that same vibe for me. And I understand I'm just not used to it, but it's that whole case study vibe where I'm like, I'm just watching people in their natural habitat.
Right. Well,
Then I'm
that
like,
that was
people are
the
iguanas.
that was the whole premise that it started out as, like a social experiment. You drop however many strangers into a house and see what they do in order to get this money. And yeah.
that's that's actually, the original premise is a very good idea because of how humans are, with money and the necessary need of it.
Hmm.
I mean, honestly, I watched a live feed of a giant red wolf trying to find a mate and ended up with a little coyote. It was a very sweet moment.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the difference is so funny, and it was just, this is not the point. Sorry, not the point.
it's just
Okay,
that
so the
beings are interesting.
human
Human
being and
humans
animals are,
and animals. Yes.
it's just
That's
it's a
why we
weird
have pets.
concept, but I get it. Yeah, that's right. I don't know what Cheddar is. I was gonna pet him. He's not next to me. I don't know. He's somewhere. Anyway, I'm gonna continue watching the Big Brother Canada season 10 and maybe even apply for Big Brother. I could be the horrible. I could be the horrible person.
Okay, but I'm gonna help you. if you do like apply, so that you can be like the entertaining possible villain, but you won't get kicked out early, so that you'll stay on the show for like as long as possible.
I'm going off my meds for the show. That's not safe. All right. And that's the end of this review.
Alex, where can people find you after that statement? Where can people find you?
Want to? I've said that before. You can find me at Alex and Nobody. That is a very good username for me at Instagram and on TikTok. And you can also find the First Ones to Die on TikTok, where I post little short clips. The First Ones to Die is also where you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the social media, as well as YouTube, where you'll find this video and other little vlogs, little reviews, such as our book review that I mentioned earlier from Vladimir, and then also video renditions. Thank you. Of our podcast, where we film ourselves just talking and me yelling at the guys sometimes. What about you, Jonathan? Where can we find you?
Yes, you can find me at Jonathan Keys on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you please. You can also follow us at The First Ones to Die on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. You can also email us, thefirstones2die@gmail.com. We would love your emails. Chat Big Brother Canada with us. Also, like and subscribe this video if you're watching it. You are watching it on YouTube, because that's the only place we're putting it. But like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all of the podcast platforms. You can listen to us. We talk about a lot of movies, TV shows. So we'd love to chat about them with you all. And until next time,